This is one question taken from the chapter application of derivatives. We have one question from the increasing decreasing function. The question says that we are given a function, which is I can see that it is a polynomial function, and we have to find the interval on which the function is increasing and the interval on which the function is decreasing. Well, there are a few steps that we should know. That in the first step, we find f dash x, then we equate the f dash x with 0 to get the turning point or critical point, that is the value of x. So whatever the values of x comes, then we draw a number line and divide the real line into the interval. And then making a table, we find out the interval on which the function is increasing, that is the nature of f dash x. So this is what we do in questions like this. Let's begin with the first part. Say if I write on the question here, our question, that is fx is given as, this is 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 36x plus 7. Now using this formula, that is derivative of x raised to the power n, it is nx raised to the power n minus 1. We'll find f dash x. Clearly f dash x we are getting as, this is 6x squared minus 6x minus 36x. Now, as I said, for increasing or decreasing, we must equate f dash x with 0 to get the turning or the critical point. Equating f dash x with 0 and taking 6 common, we get x squared minus x minus 6 equal to 0. Further, we are going to factorize it using middle term splitting. That is going to be minus 3x plus 2x minus 6 equals 0. So we get x common from the first two term and 2 from the last two term. So we get this as x minus 3 and x plus 2 equals 0. So what we get to know that we have two factors of x here, and these are the turning points. So x is equal to minus 2 and x is equal to, like equating this with 0, we got x is equal to minus 2, and equating this with 0, we got x is equal to 3. The next thing that we do is to draw the number line. Let's say if I make the number line here, I made a number line, this representing negative infinity, this representing positive infinity, and in between we have minus 2 and positive 3. Now we are going to check the sign of f dash x, that is sign of f dash x will give us the nature of this function, the fx, that is whether it's increasing or decreasing. Let's figure out for the first interval, that is from minus infinity, like minus infinity to minus 2. What you can see, like if I place a value in between this, like I can place minus 3 here, let's say on the f dash x. So we are getting minus 3, which is minus 6, and minus 3 plus 2 is minus 1. So we are going to get a negative value here. This is giving us a negative value. So we'll say that, sorry, negative is here, negative and negative, that is positive. So we are getting f dash x as 0. So we'll say that the function is increasing in this interval. Now coming to the next interval, that is from minus 2 to 3. We'll check the sign of f dash x. I can place 0 here, right? Placing x as 0 here, what we are getting, this is, let me show you once again what I'm talking about. Yeah. So if I place 0 here, so we are getting minus, we'll get a minus, that is negative, and a positive. So negative and positive will give you negative. So we'll say that in this interval, this f dash x is less than 0. So we'll say that it is decreasing. Further on the last interval, that is from 3 to infinity, that is 3 to infinity. So if I check the sign of f dash x, now from 3 to infinity, if I place a value, say 4 here, we are getting a positive and a positive here. Positive into positive is positive. So that is greater than 0. Post that, we make a number line as I have made here. Sorry, the table. And in this table, I made 3 columns. And I've also written the interval. Now you can see here that in the interval that is from minus infinity to minus 2, it's greater than 0. So we'll say that the sign is positive here and the function is increasing. Now, similarly, if I see the next interval that is minus 2 to minus 2 to 3, we see that the sign of f dash x is less than 0. That is, it is negative and the function is decreasing. Further, you see that in the interval 3 to infinity, the sign of f dash x is greater than 0. This is greater than 0. So we'll say that this is positive and therefore the function is increasing. And that's how we find the interval. So we can say that for increasing the interval is minus, for increasing the interval is, I should write it here. Yeah, for increasing, as you can see, the interval is minus infinity to minus 2 union 3 to positive infinity. And for decreasing, we have the interval as minus 2 to 3. And that's how we determine the interval.